Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're zooming in on, well, a really key part of the global economy, the global diesel market.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to explore, where it's heading, its growth, looking closely at projections from 2021 all the way up to 2033.
Yeah, quite a time frame.
Exactly.
Right.
And our insights, they're coming from this really detailed market research report. It does a great job translating all that complex data.
Yeah, breaking it down.
Our mission, as always, is pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Pull out the most important bits, the interesting facts about, well, one of the world's most essential fuel markets, helping you get up to speed quickly.
Yeah.
So here's the big question we're kind of tackling. Is diesel like a fuel of the past? Or does it actually have this surprisingly strong grip on things as we look towards 2033?
And that's such a critical question because really, understanding this market gives you direct insights into, well, global economic activity, right? The backbone of transport, industrial development all over the world.
For sure.
And the data we're about to look at, it lets us see not just, what's happening now, but where the growth is strongest and what those regional shifts might mean for the bigger energy picture.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with the big picture, the global numbers. And honestly, they tell a story that might surprise quite a few people about how persistent diesel really is.
Mm-hmm.
So back in 2021, the worldwide diesel market, it generated over $223 billion in revenue.
Wow, yeah.
Now, looking ahead to 2025, that number projected to climb to nearly $260 billion. But here's the really eye-opening bit. By 2033, it's expected to hit a massive $348.64 billion.
Almost 350 billion.
Right. This steady climb works out to a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 3.78% over more than a decade.
And what's really striking there, I think, is that even with all the necessary talk about alternative fuels, about electrification, this steady growth just underlines diesel's, well, almost undeniable relevance in key sectors.
Yeah, undeniable is a good word.
We're talking its fundamental role in heavy-duty transport, think global shipping, freight, huge farm machinery, industrial kit, even power generation, for backup or in remote places.
Absolutely.
Diesel is proving to be this really stubborn workhorse fuel. It's just not easily replaced at scale yet. A KGR close to 4% for a mature fuel like this. That signals really deep structural demand.
That global view is compelling, definitely. But it really comes alive when we slice it by region. So let's pivot to North America. The report suggests it's on a stable but, consistent growth path.
Okay.
Overall, North American diesel revenue, it was over $106 billion in 2021, projected to hit nearly $160 billion by 2033. So that's an annual growth rate of 3.431%.
Pretty solid.
And if you look at the countries, the U.S., no surprise, dominates, makes up the biggest chunk, projected to reach over $124 billion by 2033.
Right, the sheer scale of the U.S. economy.
But here's a little wrinkle. While the U.S. grows steadily, Canada, it actually shows a slightly stronger annual growth rate, 4.013%, going from $14 billion in 2021 up to over $22 billion by 2033.
Oh, interesting.
And Mexico's not lagging too far behind either. Healthy growth there, expected to top $12 billion by 2033.
Yeah, those nuances in North America are quite revealing. Canada's stronger growth rate, even though its economy is smaller than the U.S., that likely points to, significant industrial activity, resource development.
Farming, forestry, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. Mining, forestry, heavy construction, big diesel users, and those sectors are really active there. North America's overall stability, though, it comes from its huge, mature industrial base and just how much its massive freight and farming sectors rely on diesel.
Still very reliant.
Yeah, even with pushes towards EVs and things, the scale, the existing infrastructure, the sheer energy density needed for those heavy jobs, it means diesel demand is kind of locked in for a while yet.
Okay, so from North America, let's hop across the Atlantic, over to Europe. Now here, the diesel market was worth over $52 billion back in 2021. Forecast to grow to over $77 billion by 2033. That's a 3.378% CAGR.
Slightly lower than North America overall.
Slightly. But what's really fascinating in Europe is how varied the growth is across the continent. It's like a mosaic, reflecting different economies, different policies.
Right, not monolithic at all.
Exactly. Take Germany. Major auto hub, big manufacturing base. It shows really strong growth. Its diesel market is set to expand by over 4% a year, hitting more than $17 billion by 2033.
Wow, that's quite robust for Europe.
It is. The UK also sees pretty solid growth, projected over $10 billion. But then you contrast that with, say, France and Russia. They show noticeably slower expansion, annual growth rates under 3%, France just reaching $10 billion, Russia only about $3.6 billion by 2033.
Interesting divergence.
Yeah, and then you have others like Italy and Spain showing steady growth, both hitting over $7 billion. Plus, smaller markets like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, they all add billions more collectively.
These sharp differences within Europe are very telling, aren't they?
Definitely.
They clearly reflect differences in, well, industrial focus, reliance on heavy transport, but also, crucially, national energy policies.
Right, the policy lever.
For sure. Countries like Germany, with strong manufacturing, lots of road freight, they naturally keep needing more diesel. But then other nations may be pushing harder on cleaner energy or with different economic setups. They might see slower growth as they actively try to cut diesel use, even if replacing it fully is, still a long way off.
Yeah.
It really highlights how policy choices bump up against market realities.
Okay, now, here's where the story gets really interesting, I think. The Asia-Pacific market, it shows significantly faster momentum, much faster than anywhere else.
Right, this is the big growth engine.
Totally. Starting at over $36 billion in 2021,
Yeah.
it's projected to really surge to over $66 billion by 2033. That reflects an impressive 5.11% annual growth rate. It's not just growth, it feels like acceleration.
Yeah, over 5% CAGR is huge for a fuel market.
And when you zoom in on the powerhouses, China, obviously a global industrial engine, its diesel market is forecast to expand by over 5.3% annually, reaching nearly $20 billion by 2033.
Incredible numbers.
Then there's India. Even more remarkable, actually. Almost 6% annual growth, set to basically double its diesel market to nearly $10 billion by 2033.
Wow, nearly 6%. That's massive.
It is. And even smaller places like Singapore, they boast the highest regional growth, over 5.4% a year. The wider Southeast Asia region is expanding dramatically too. And Japan, a developed economy, still records solid growth, hitting over $10 billion by 2033.
This rapid growth in Asia Pacific, it really raises a critical point, doesn't it, about how we think about global energy transitions.
How so?
Well, it's just so directly tied to the massive industrialization happening, the urbanization, the sheer amount of infrastructure being built across so many of these countries.
Right, construction, roads, factories.
Exactly. As economies boom, construction explodes, manufacturing output climbs, huge new transport networks are built.
Yeah.
Demand for diesel, for the heavy equipment, the logistics, even for vital backup power where grids aren't fully reliable yet,
Yeah,
it just surges.
makes sense.
It really highlights where the world's economic momentum and the energy demand that goes with it is truly centered right now.
Beyond these really big players, though, we also see consistent contributions from South America, the Middle East, and Africa. They each play their part in this global diesel story.
Okay.
South America's diesel market, growing at a healthy 4.145% annually, expanding from nearly $11 billion in 2021 to over $17.8 billion by 2033. Brazil, Argentina, Chile are leading the way there.
Still strong growth, over 4%.
Yep. Then the Middle East, also seeing robust expansion. Its market's growing by nearly 4% annually from $9.6 billion up to over $15 billion by 2033. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are the key drivers.
Great, lots of development there too.
And finally, Africa. Its diesel market is projected to grow by over 3.3% annually, from $7.5 billion to over $12 billion, largely pushed by South Africa and Nigeria.
So what these figures across South America, the Middle East, Africa, what they tell us collectively is just how important diesel continues to be, how foundational it is in these developing economies.
Yeah, foundational is right.
Whether it's for, expanding agriculture, powering new mines, or fueling the construction of critical infrastructure, especially where national grids are still being built out, diesel remains this accessible, reliable, energy-dense source. It's driving fundamental economic activity where alternatives often just aren't feasible or available yet.
Right.
It's not just some legacy fuel hanging on. For many places, it's a current engine of growth.
So, okay, we've dived deep into all these numbers, these regional differences.
Yeah.
What does it all mean for you, the listener, someone just trying to stay informed about global energy trends?
Well, if we connect all these dots, step back and look at the bigger picture. It's really clear that while, yes, alternative fuels are growing, they are gaining traction, diesel is still deeply, deeply embedded in the global energy system.
Entrenched, yeah.
Exactly. And the big regional differences we've seen, Europe's more varied growth versus Asia-Pacific's explosive expansion, they reflect very real differences. Differences in industrial development stages, national energy policies, how mature the transport infrastructure is.
That's complex.
It's very complex. This isn't some simple straight line away from diesel. It's a complicated multi-speed transition where diesel is frankly, holding steady in many places and growing significantly in others, even as markets do gradually shift towards cleaner sources. It tells us that, while practical realities often set the pace of change.
That's a great point. The core takeaway here really is that the global diesel market isn't just, surviving the energy transition talk. It's actually growing. Maybe not everywhere at the same speed, but growing overall. And these fascinating regional differences, they tell us so much about global development, about energy priorities on the ground. Understanding these details, the granular stuff, it really offers a much richer, more nuanced view than you get from just reading broad headlines about a simple energy switch.
Absolutely. And this raises, I think, an important question for you to mull over as you digest all this.
Yeah.
How might this continued significant growth of the diesel market, especially its rapid acceleration in developing regions,
Hmm.
how might that influence the actual practical realities and maybe the timelines of global energy transitions?
Wow.
The push towards cleaner sources over the next decade.
Yeah.
Will this demand spur more investment in making diesel itself cleaner? Or does it just create a bigger, more stubborn challenge for decarbonization down the road?
Definitely a lot to think about there. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope these insights help you connect the dots in your own understanding of the world. Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving deep into a topic that, well, on the surface might seem a bit old-fashioned. In our rapidly greening world, the global diesel market.
Right.
I mean, while there's this huge global race toward cleaner renewable alternatives,
Yeah.
diesel, it remains a truly vital component of the energy economy.
Absolutely vital.
It's anchoring everything from heavy-duty transport and farming
Mm-hmm.
to essential industrial operations, especially, in regions where electrification infrastructure is still developing.
Yeah, lagging behind.
So our mission for this deep dive is really to extract the most important insights into its key dynamics.
Get into the nuts and bolts.
Exactly. The major drivers keeping it fundamental, the pressing restraints forcing its evolution, and maybe some surprising trends shaping its future.
And what's truly striking here, I think, is how diesel's continued indispensability in very specific sectors makes understanding its current landscape absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
Crucial for anyone interested in global energy, logistics. It's not just about what's new and emerging. It's also about what's still fundamentally underpinning, well, a huge portion of our world.
So, okay, what are these fundamental drivers keeping diesel so pervasive? Let's start there.
Makes sense.
The immense demand in transportation and logistics. I mean, what's often overlooked is the diesel's inherent energy density. It isn't just a technical spec, is it?
No, not at all. It's the hidden linchpin.
It's the hidden linchpin, yeah, of global supply chains. It's superior energy density, it's fuel efficiency that makes it the fuel of choice
The go-to.
for heavy-duty vehicles, commercial fleets, maritime shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to connect this to the exponential rise of e-commerce, global supply chains, especially in emerging markets,
Right, where the alternatives aren't really there yet.
where robust charging stations, EV support systems,
Yeah.
they're often limited or just non-existent. So for you listening, what stands out most about how foundational it is for just moving stuff worldwide?
Well, exactly. I mean, think about it. For every kilometer, a heavy-duty truck needs way more energy than a passenger EV,
Huge difference.
which makes current battery tech for long haul, well, pretty impractical still.
Yeah.
And it's not just transportation. We see this immense industrial and agricultural reliance on diesel, too.
Right, outside the cities.
Think about it. Across vast stretches of developing and rural regions, diesel fuels basically everything.
Like what?
Irrigation pumps, tractors, construction equipment, remote industrial generators.
Okay.
These are critical operations, mining sites, off-grid agricultural zones, rugged construction terrains, places where electric alternatives either, don't exist
Or cost too much.
or aren't economically feasible, or they just can't deliver the consistent power needed. Reliability is key there.
And it's not just pure utility driving demand.
Yeah.
It's also embedded pretty deeply in economic policy.
Oh, definitely.
Many countries, particularly, emerging economies, they strategically support diesel, tax incentives, subsidies, especially for sectors like agriculture, freight, public transport.
Yeah.
And this isn't just about making it cheaper.
No, it's a deliberate economic lever. It really is.
How so?
Well, these policies help stabilize diesel prices, for one, They promote economic activity in those essential industries
Keep things moving.
and maintain widespread usage, particularly in price-sensitive and developing markets. The interesting part, though,
Yeah.
is how this sometimes creates a kind of tension. It can slow the transition to greener alternatives in sectors where diesel is just so deeply subsidized.
Right, that makes sense. It creates inertia.
Exactly.
Okay, so for all its current indispensability, diesel's path forward is, well, it's far from smooth.
Definitely not.
In fact, it faces some pretty formidable roadblocks that are fundamentally reshaping its future. Let's delve into those restraints.
Yeah, the challenges.
Starting with strict emission regulations. We all know diesel combustion produces harmful pollutants.
Nolatox, particulate matter, CO2.
Yeah. Nitrogen oxides, particulate matter, carbon dioxide. And these regulations, like Euro 6 in Europe, or Farad State 6 in India,
We're not just suggestions, they have teeth.
right, they aren't just arbitrary numbers. They're forcing manufacturers, fleet operators, to invest heavily.
Very heavily. In advanced emission reduction tech, things like SCR, selective catalytic reduction, or DPFs, diesel particulate filters.
Right.
And this significantly increases operational costs. It has to.
Mhm.
And it's gradually, maybe slowly but surely, shifting preferences toward cleaner alternatives. It's a considerable burden for the industry.
Then there's the broader context, the global push for decarbonization,
Big picture trend.
the increasing adoption of electric vehicles, hybrid tech, renewable energy systems. This is a massive global transition underway.
And this really raises an important question, doesn't it? If urban mobility is shifting towards electric.
Yeah, where does that leave diesel?
Exactly. As countries ramp up EV infrastructure, incentivize electric public transport, diesel faces significant long-term headwinds.
Especially in cities.
Especially in those urban environments, it really forces a reevaluation of where diesel will fit in the evolving energy landscape.
So like a strategic retreat.
It might look like that, a strategic retreat from some areas, yeah, but not necessarily a full exit everywhere. Not yet, anyway.
And finally, a very real, very immediate restraint, the volatility. Fluctuations in crude oil prices.
Always a factor.
Since diesel is refined from crude oil, its cost is incredibly sensitive to, well, everything. Geopolitical events, supply chain disruptions,
OPEC decisions.
decisions by OPEC nations. That's the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, the big bloc.
And this inherent volatility, it can have a really negative impact on consumer affordability, on business profitability. It directly influences diesel demand across various sectors.
Space uncertainty.
A lot of uncertainty for everyone involved, yeah.
Yeah.
From the farmer buying fuel for his tractor to the logistics company managing a global fleet.
Yet, and this is where it gets really interesting, this isn't just a story of inevitable decline, is it?
No, not entirely.
Despite these formidable challenges, the diesel market is proving surprisingly resilient, adaptable even.
It is adapting.
It's actively evolving, driven by some fascinating new trends. Let's talk about those.
Okay.
One key area of innovation is the adoption of clean diesel technologies.
Right. Making diesel itself cleaner.
We're seeing advancements like ultra-low sulfur diesel, ULSD, advanced fuel additives, cutting-edge exhaust after-treatment systems.
And these developments are specifically designed to meet those stricter emission standards we just talked about,
Right.
while simultaneously, keeping diesel relevant in an increasingly environmentally conscious world. It's about making the fuel evolve rather than just hoping it gets replaced wholesale overnight.
That makes sense. Another promising trend, maybe more of a bridge solution,
Possibly, yeah.
is the integration of biodiesel and diesel blends. This means blending conventional diesel with renewable biodiesel.
You see ranges like B5, B20.
Right. B5 to B20 blends, meaning anywhere from 5% to 20% biofuel content.
And this is a really promising transitional step towards sustainability, I think.
Was it?
Well, these blends offer reduced emissions, which is key. But crucially, they offer compatibility with existing diesel engines.
So no big changes needed for the vehicles.
Exactly. That makes them ideal for things like public buses, freight trucks, industrial vehicles, allows for greener operations without massive overhaul costs or big infrastructure changes.
So it's an immediate way to lower the carbon footprint a bit.
A tangible step you can take now, yes.
And finally, we're seeing the emergence of diesel generator hybrids.
Yes, the hybrids.
A clever combination, it feels like, of diesel power with solar energy or maybe battery storage.
They really are quite clever and very practical. These systems are particularly useful in remote areas
Where the grid is weak.
where grid connectivity is weak or completely absent. Think about like telecommunications towers way out somewhere,
Okay.
remote healthcare facilities, defense outposts. These can now get cleaner, more efficient, and importantly, more reliable energy solutions through these hybrid systems.
Best of both worlds, almost.
It's a smart way to get that, yeah. The reliability of diesel when you need it, with the cleaner aspects of renewables mixed in.
So, okay, to wrap up our deep dive here, the global diesel market is clearly at, well, a turning point.
A crossroads, definitely.
While it continues to power the backbone of industry, logistics, rural infrastructure, it absolutely must evolve
Fundamentally evolve, yeah.
to meet these twin challenges of sustainability and technological innovation.
Exactly. And we're seeing that happen. From cleaner fuel blends to smarter hybrid systems, diesel is being reshaped
To stay viable.
to remain viable and, frankly, essential in many areas, even in a world increasingly focused on greener energy. But it's adapting strategically, like we said, rather than just disappearing.
So here's something maybe for you, the listener, to mull over or explore on your own. As we consider these adaptations, how quickly do you think these clean diesel solutions, these hybrid systems, how quickly will they truly become the new norm in different parts of the world?
It won't be uniform.
Especially when you have to balance that economic feasibility, the cost factor, with the environmental goals. It's a tough balancing act.